nation, Poland, a border country with a large Ukrainian community. But according to Polish authorities, the waiting time at the border can be up to 12 hours.
We are staying here for a long time, maybe 6 or 7 hours already, but it's crazy. Actually, I don't want to leave my native country, but because of the invaders, I must leave it as fast as possible.
Elsewhere in Romania, authorities counted an influx of almost 20,000 refugees in 2 days.
Normal traffic is around 20 cars a day. Now we have at least 50 to 60 for each terminal. There are lots of people with luggage, with small children, because on the other side, the situation is desperate.
According to the UN, the war could cause the exodus of 5 million people. A meeting on the migration crisis is scheduled for Sunday between the European Union's interior ministers.
Doug, is Europe prepared for another refugee crisis?
Well, this is, it sounds extremely cynical, but the refugee called the reason Europe has not been able to get its act together. Let's face it, at the end of the day, it's been so charged and laced with so many other fleeing from war and conflict. It's been charged with issues of cultural clashes of cultures. In many cases coming from these countries, coming to Europe and like barbarians at the gate, political spectrum. So the cynical answer here is what makes this refugee crisis more palatable is Ukraine can be depicted as a nation. A nation, we keep talking about how this is the first, major, biggest conflict on Europe's doorstep since the end of World War II, especially if it escalates further. Are mostly white Christians. And so in the east of the country, more of the Orthodox. In the west of the country, closer to Poland, they're going to be more Catholic. But that also, from a political standpoint, will not get as much fierce opposition, especially on the right of the political spectrum. It is a very grim reality that that's the case, because human beings are human beings. But is Europe prepared for these numbers of refugees? You could argue that if Europe actually shares the burden of refugees, yes, they are prepared to handle the potential numbers that could come. We saw 120,000 so far, according to the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, their office, just in the first couple of days here. That could reach in the millions. If they are apportioned out among different European countries, depending on where they go, yes, Europe would be up to the challenge. Politically, it might be easier for politicians to make the publics accept this type of refugee crisis. And unfortunately, there actually might even be more sympathy, because these are white people, white Christians, who, quote, look like us. And that's the reality here with this refugee crisis and what makes it different from a lot of things.
All right, Doug, thank you very much. Douglas Herbert, Friends from the Force International Affairs commentator. Time now for a quick break. And more headlines coming up on Friends.